The Last of Us director of episode 3 said that he tricked people into watching the episode of two dudes in a romance. He felt like he had to trick people into it because they otherwise wouldn't have wanted to watch it. Now, is that true? Would people not have watched it had they known? Definitely some of them, for sure. But tricking people into watching any type of romance scene, I think, is out of line and very uncomfortable, very awkward, and very inappropriate. But I have a lot of opinions on this. Let me go ahead and dive into the video. Right here, this comes to us from Unilad. It says the Last of Us director says he wanted to trick audiences into watching the romance story between two men. All right. I don't like this at all, regardless of the gender of the people in the romance story, because when it comes to just full-on scenes of intimacy, I don't like to watch stuff that has that. I think in almost every case, if not every case, it's not necessary. You can even imply some stuff, but you don't have to get graphic with it. Call me a prude, I don't care, but I ain't about that. Like, and also I'm a Christian, and it's just like, I'm not comfortable with scenes like that. I'm just not. I didn't watch Game of Thrones for this reason. I didn't watch House of Dragon for this reason. I had so many of my viewers begging me to watch House of Dragon, and I didn't. I watched one episode and I saw enough, and I was like, I'm out. I'm checked out of this. I don't like those gratuitous intimacy scenes. I don't care who's doing them. Don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's uncomfortable. I don't watch corn. I think that kind of stuff can rot your brain, but that's a whole other discussion. Whatever anybody else watches is their business, and what I choose not to watch is my business. So that's where my personal convictions fall in that, and I don't watch those. So that's another reason why I wouldn't watch this, which I didn't know. I quit watching The Last of Us after the first episode because, quite frankly, and you can see in my review, I was bored. I thought that the production value was incredible, but in terms of the actual story, the game does it so much better. Why would I want to spend hours and hours and hours watching this show when the game tells the story better? I can just play the game again or watch cutscenes of it again, you know? That's my line of thinking with it. You can watch my full review if you want more of my opinions, but I think there's multiple problems with this. Tricking people into watching any type of intimacy type content or scene is very invasive. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. People should be able to make their mind up and make the choice if they want to see something. And this is one reason too why there's there's like a rating on the show, like rated R, rated this, that, TV 14, whatever it is on TV. But yeah, if people don't know, there's a lot of straight dudes who just don't want to see dudes getting it on, and there's nothing wrong with them not wanting to watch that. That's perfectly okay. Or anybody who doesn't just want to watch that, that's okay. They're allowed to not want to watch it. So the fact that people were tricked into it is just very awkward, and it shows that the director didn't have much faith in what he was creating here, which is pretty telling. And I think the fact that this is an entire filler episode that they dedicate to these two dudes that veers off the story but is used as a filler episode shows that this is performative virtue more than or some sort of like fanfic of performative virtue than just actually giving them more significant role in the story. Okay, so instead of them dying, for example, and this was on Friday Night Tights yesterday, one of the guys said this. I wish I remember who said it, but I don't. But one of the guys said, you could have let one of the dudes survive, and that could have been his like Joker moment, you know? That could have been where he gets dark and jaded, and he could have played a bigger role in the story. It's not following canon anyway, so you could make those kind of changes. But the fact that this happened and it's just entirely, purely a filler episode, you could watch the show and never watch episode 3 and not miss any of the story, then come on now. Come on. It reads like performative virtue. But anyway, The article says the first 2 episodes of the series, based on the beloved 2013 game, follow Joel and Ellie as they stick together to survive a deathly viral infection that has run rampant across the US. However, the third installment, which is called Long Long Time, sees a slight shift in the narrative. Instead of following Joel and Ellie, who everybody are watching the show to want to see, this father-daughter type bond that they have grown with each other and that you see develop. That's kind of what everybody's watching for. But anyway, the show focuses on the romantic relationship between Bill and Frank, an unlikely couple living in an isolated town during the pandemic. The episode 3 director, Peter Hoer, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, recently sat down with Inverse to discuss why he wanted to focus on a queer love story. He said, sometimes you have to sort of trick the rest of the world into watching these things before they're like, oh my goodness, it was 2 guys. I just realized. I think the reason why he tricked people into it is because he knew that people weren't going to watch it. Otherwise, a lot of people aren't. Like a bunch of straight dudes aren't going to watch it, for example. And look at like the movie Bros that just absolutely tanked in the box office. I do think it's messed up though that they're tricking people into it. If you write a good story, people might want to watch it in general, but they might not. Hey, that's their prerogative anyway. Either way. Then he says, I think then they might understand that it's all real. It's just the same love. Yes, the old sneaking the shredded carrots into the brownie trick. Hoer, who is gay, also spoke on Bill's sexuality and how his characterization shatters LGBTQI plus XYZ 123 stereotypes. Bill is complicated. I would definitely argue that Bill doesn't come across as a gay man, he said. It's a little less binary than that. He is a man who never really discovered himself. He lived in a world of mistrust. He lived with his mother for a certain long number of years. She then died and he had the house. He pulled himself away from society. He added, middle-aged men falling in love. You don't get that all the time. So I think that was nice. I will say that what he's saying out of this, a lot of times when you look at movies and TV shows that portray gay men, they are almost always extremely feminized, more often than not. Like, I can't even off the top of my head think of a gay character that isn't. Just one of those super catty gays, you know what I mean? One of those super catty gays that try to talk like a woman, that are, all about the tea, all about, the shade, all about like that RuPaul Drag Race type personality of just being catty, gossipy, just being like, and I can definitely see how this is refreshing to see a gay portrayal that's not that, that, okay, here's gay men who are acting like men, they're not trying to pretend like they're women. So I think that there isn't that much, when we're talking about representation, which y'all know, I think it's so annoying that people feel, if you feel like you have to be seen on a TV show to be validated as a human being, then something's wrong. But I do think that it can get a bit annoying after a while when every single gay character is just that catty stereotype, okay? Like I said in the She-Hulk TV show as well, the gay guy there, of course, catty stereotype. And honestly, yeah, that's just annoying. It's just annoying to see that super extreme stereotype with everything. So I will give him credit that this is a refreshing thing to see with this kind of stuff. Even though it's something I don't plan on watching, I will say that in terms of creating gay characters, which Bill was already gay in the game, so it's not like brand new thing. But in terms of portraying them in this way, that is refreshing in this time when we don't see it that often. So I will give him that. So anyway, shortly after the episode aired, one person wrote on Twitter, was not prepared for The Last of Us or Nick Offerman to grab me by the throat and destroy me with one of the most beautiful gay storylines I've ever seen. But here we are. And then we have the Boulet brothers that say, officially nominating the third episode of The Last of Us for every queer media award possible. In a world where we see virtually nothing but awful stereotypes of gay men in our content, the depiction of Bill and Frank and their relationship was beautiful and expertly handled. While writer for The Independent, Louis Shilton, said the storyline breaks new ground for Britly macho conventions of genre fiction. He added, the episode managed to pull it off so brilliantly and is a whole other marvel. The Last of Us is currently streaming on Binge, Sky Atlantic, and HBO. And now, homophobes are review bombing the latest episode. Okay, the review bombing. They always say it. Well, maybe people are mad that they got tricked into it. It literally said it was being tricked into it. You wonder why people are mad? That doesn't make them homophobic. If that's not something that they wanted to watch and they were tricked into it, and that made them uncomfortable and it was awkward for them to watch when it's something that they otherwise would not have wanted to see, of course they're going to be mad about it. And they have every right to be mad about it. You know? That's just how it is, dude. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But hey, I didn't watch the episode. Maybe it's great. Maybe they did a good job with it. It's not for me. And I don't intend on watching it, which I didn't even watch the second episode because I was checked out after the first one because I felt like it was boring and I felt like it was inferior to the game. It just had really good production value and it had some good parts of it, which again, you can see my review if you want to see more of that. But yeah, it just ultimately wasn't for me. But anyway, there you have it for my opinions on the topic. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime,